Mehr, thanks very much for speaking to me on again and joining us. You heard, I hope, what Sushma Swaraj had to say. We were talking to our WION correspondent in Islamabad, and he said that Pakistan media has not been broadcasting it. If you've seen it as a Pakistani, what did you make of it? She said Jammu and Kashmir is and will always be an integral part of India, and also spoke on a common definition of terrorism and a common global stand.
I'm sorry, I've not heard her speech. I was not home and I wasn't connected to the internet, but I'm sure she must have said stuff that she has said in the past. And what you need to understand is that, of course, Indians believe Kashmir is an integral part of Pakistan, as they should. I'm not
India, integral part of India.
India, yes, I said India. I said India.
Okay.
What I mean is, when you, I can understand that that claim, but I don't understand why there's a refusal to talk about Kashmir, because India, despite its reservations vis-a-vis Pakistan and terrorism and other issues, it has always said that it would talk to Pakistan about all these issues once the terrorism issue is out. So if it's an integral part, or we don't think it's our integral part, honestly speaking, I just think it's, I don't know, I do believe Pakistan should be focusing on other things, but I mean, I keep saying it to people in Pakistan, through my writing, I keep saying it on Pakistan national TV, but I can't say it beyond a certain point. A lot of jingoism related to the word Kashmir in Pakistan. What I would like to say is that, for me, the only thing that's important is that Pakistan has to be very clear about not compartmentalizing terror.
Right.
But for that, I just want you to understand that once upon a time it was there was this romanticized romanticism about jihad, about the holy war in Kashmir, and you take up guns and you go and fight for the oppressed people and so on and so forth.
Right.
And, to give an example, the movie Rang De Basanti, which everybody in Pakistan and India, we all love the movie. They showed Bhagat Singh and group, doing whatever made Bhagat Singh heroic to this day. But on the other hand, when Amir Khan and his friends try to do the same thing, they are considered terrorists. So what I'm trying to say is that I don't think there are Pakistanis who, despite whatever they think, are just sitting here and thinking, let's go and harm India. It's only about Kashmir. It's only about, and I'm not justifying it. To me, anybody who picks up a gun to harm another human being, justified or unjustified, no matter what the cause is, you lose your moral high ground as soon as you pick up a gun. To me, a terrorist is a terrorist. I'm not one of those people that I would say people who Pakistan support are freedom fighters, and people who you condemn are terrorists. I would not say that.
Right.
I do believe in the last few years a lot has changed in Pakistan. Pakistan has seen so much death and so much destruction that every second day we have statements from the Chief of Army Staff, from our Prime Minister. Yesterday there was a statement, directive from the State Bank of Pakistan.
But despite that, Mehr, despite that, your Prime Minister spoke about Burhan Wani, and he said he was a local young leader, and since then his images with an AK-47 in a soldier attire have flooded social media, not just in India but several other parts. Let's continue this conversation, but my editor-in-chief Rohit Gandhi would like to ask you a question. Rohit, go ahead.
Mr. Tarar, if India certainly took a very as an exception to Nawaz Sharif's speech, and it has talked about rethinking how it was showing generosity when it comes to the Indus water. 3 of those rivers India is capable of consuming according to the pact, and India hasn't, and now is considering if Pakistan doesn't change its stand. What kind of an impact has that statement had in Pakistan, or is Pakistan not looking at it as a serious threat by India?
Of course, Pakistan would be looking at the Indus Water Treaty very seriously right now, but you need to understand that actually, I'm just going to quote something that I just edited. Somebody from your side of Kashmir just wrote an article for the newspaper that I work for, and as far as he's concerned, he said that since all these rivers are in a disputed territory, not one party should be allowed to, control water. I don't really, throughout my life, I have seen River Ravi or Jhelum and Chenab, and all these rivers are part of our life. I live in Lahore, Chenab is right here. I think it would be very unfair to stop water to Pakistan, because it's millions of people's lives that would be affected by when you talk about something like water. And I don't think Pakistanis deserve that kind of treatment. As I keep saying, we're 190 million people. There are a few thousand people who do believe that there's a holy war going on in Kashmir, and they should do something about what's happening in Kashmir. You need to understand, all they know about Kashmir is what they see in media, and that honestly comes from your side. It's not that our media is covering it. They see, children being killed and children being blinded, and of course they have all this emotionalism connected to it. As far as I'm concerned, I do believe human rights violations in Kashmir are as bad as human rights violations anywhere in the world. There should not be any differentiation. We can't just become gung-ho about what's happening in Kashmir and not pay attention to what's happening in our own country or any other part of the world, but that's just me. So you need to understand that Pakistanis just, a lot has changed. But there is this whole
But Ms. Tarar, may I butt in a bit? But the Indian Prime Minister, that's why he spoke to the Pakistani people directly. And that's the appeal he's made to them, is that the Pakistani people need to impress on their own government that they need to stop this support of terror. Otherwise, India will have no choice but to exercise its right on the three rivers. There are three rivers which Pakistan has control of, but the other three rivers India can utilize, which India hasn't been utilizing, recognizing the need of the water in Pakistan. But if India begins diverting those rivers, and it is rightly allowed to do it, then it certainly has an impact. And that's why the Indian Prime Minister spoke directly to the Pakistani people. Has there been a response? Have people responded to what the Indian Prime Minister said so far? Just want your take on it.
Look, I would be lying if I knew how people have responded to this, because I don't see a lot of Pakistani TV crews going to normal, regular people and asking them about what's happening in Kashmir and what the Prime Minister of India is saying, because not that a lot of Indians would believe it, but seriously, people here do not talk about India. They do not talk about Kashmir. Yes, there are organizations. There have always been organizations, and they have supported an armed struggle in Kashmir. All I want to say to you is that normal, regular Pakistanis, yes, people do ask me, people, kids, people, servants, they ask me, is there going to be a war between Pakistan and India? And, I just kind of laugh, because I don't think there would be a war. I don't think it's wise to have war. Through your channel, since I have a chance to speak without being interrupted, seriously, I would believe that since you're a much bigger country in all the ways, in all visible ways, I do believe India can still play a very big part in changing the status quo between Pakistan and India. India can still say that it will not let anything come between, at least, okay, not friendship, but peace between these two countries. I do believe that what our Prime Minister said in his speech shouldn't have been said. Honestly, there was, even when he was talking about Kashmir, he was highlighting what was happening in Kashmir. There's nothing wrong with that. I support, I am with the Kashmiris as far as their pain is concerned. I print an article on Kashmir every second day, but I don't print it from the point of view of Pakistan's government. I simply print it from a Kashmiri's point of view. And they don't talk about it, but they don't really talk about being part of Pakistan, or, whatever Pakistan thinks about, they should be saying. So I'm just saying that India can simply say even now that, because no matter what you say, India is trying to be the regional power. India is trying to be a superpower, and I hope it happens. I wish you all the best. And if Indian Prime Minister were to not get into this jingoistic war, into this tit for tat, Pakistan is doing bad things, because Pakistanis are not doing these things. And honestly, I'm a critic of our government. I don't think our government would have got anything from attacking your soldiers in Uri. But yes, I seriously believe that even if it's tacit endorsement of armed groups in Kashmir, it should come to an end. Pakistan must be very clear about this, that when it says it's not going to support terrorism emanating from its soil against any country, the first country it should mention should be India. It should say that, yes, we will talk about Kashmir, we will raise the issue on international forums, we will support Kashmiris diplomatically, but we will not support any armed struggle in Kashmir. Period. It's as simple as that. Pakistan should say this categorically, and I hope somebody does someday, and I hope your Prime Minister, being the Prime Minister of a bigger country, India, I mean, we are 190 people, you're 1.29 billion people. I hope he's a bit more pragmatic than what I see of his party via your media. I mean, that's
I think they've got questions for you. Just hang on. I think both my guests have a question for you. Let's go to Professor Muni. Professor Muni, you'd like to ask us something?
Mehr, I heard that you said India is a big country, India must do something. Now, this is a very stereotype argument because India is a big country. We have been told over and over again. Tell me, what is it which we have not done, which we should do now vis-a-vis Pakistan? I mean, you're talking about Uri, Pakistan is not interested in hurting the soldiers. We had Pathankot. We allowed a bilateral investigation. We allowed your team to come to Pathankot. They promised that they will have an Indian team back in Pakistan, and they denied from that. Tell me, what is it which India should have been doing and is not doing?
Look, when this Pathankot thing happened, again, it was...
No, that's just an example. That's just an example. Mr. Modi, listen to me. Mr. Modi went to Lahore. Mr. Modi invited Nawaz Sharif. Atal Bihari Vajpayee invited General Musharraf. What is it which we have not done?
Look, that's what I'm saying, that when things are going so well, why just say that now? I really want to ask you this. Do you really think that Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif had anything to do with what happened in Italy? Do you seriously, rationally believe that Pakistan would benefit from this action in any form? We have trouble on our western border. We have trouble within our country. We are dealing with terrorism on a day-to-day basis. Pakistan does not really have a...
The problem is you have trouble between your Prime Minister and your army chief.
It's all right. We're not really interrupting. Mehr, I'm really enjoying this conversation. And I think, Rohit, go in.
Mehr, I have a question. Now, I understand from your point of view that you're saying that the Pakistani government may not have anything to do with Uri. But the reality exists that all, terrorist groups like the Hizbul Mujahideen, Al-Badr, including wanted people in the Mumbai case, are all inside physically in Pakistan, seen inside Pakistan, operate out of Pakistan. We've all met them in Pakistan, and many other journalists have met them in Pakistan. How does Pakistan then turn around and say that we are not involved if all these groups are physically operating from Islamabad and Lahore?
I'm with you on that. I'm not one of those Pakistanis that I would start to say, look at what's happening in Balochistan, because I guess you do understand that everything that happens in Balochistan has always been, blamed on India. Even before this Kulbhushan Yadav thing, everything has always been connected to India one way or the other via Afghanistan. I said this on Twitter a few days ago, and I'm saying this on your national television, that if it's Lashkar-e-Taiba, or if it's, what's the other names? What's the other group's name? Jaish-e-Mohammed, or if it's anybody that is related to India-centric terror, those people, as long as they're in Pakistan, as long as they have Pakistani passports, ID cards, it is Pakistan's government's responsibility to do something about them once and for all. I said this on Twitter. I have said this on Pakistan television, on national TV, on a channel. There are a lot of people who write about it. I just want you to know that It's not that there's silence about it. We write about it every second day in our editorials. We highlight it on TV. We say this to people, but politicians, when we meet them, Pakistan has always kind of turned a blind eye to India-centric terror, and I'm not going to deny that. The fact that they have not been able to do justice to the Mumbai killers, I'm just amazed. This is one thing that was actually acknowledged by the FIA director, the FIA director at that time, and that person is a Pakistani.
Exactly.
He wrote in Dawn newspaper last year, and he said Pakistan should do something about it. And I'm saying this, as I said, I'm not saying this on your television. I would say this anywhere. I'm sitting in a television studio right now, and it's a program on Pakistan banning Indian movies, and I, of course, would be talking against it in a few minutes. I will say this even there, that Pakistan needs to do something about people who are Pakistanis and who are perpetrating terror in your country or in Afghanistan or anywhere else. It cannot say that, oh yes, the case went on in the court for a year, for 2 years, and Lakhvi was jailed, and that person was jailed, and there was not enough. I don't think that should happen. Pakistan, once and for all, not just for you, Pakistan owes it to Pakistan.
Right.
You don't understand. We all of us, like millions of us, are just like all of you. We don't. I know, I'm sorry.
I love what you've said, Mehr. I mean, I think it's always refreshing and so lovely to talk to you. We are like you, indeed. And I'm very happy that you don't agree with Pakistan's government not wanting to show Indian films.
No,
we're not very happy
point.
here. That some parts have had that thought to not have Pakistan's stars and actors perform here. Stay with us. We'd just like to play what Sushma Swaraj has said. She's spoken about Indian government strategy now to isolate Pakistan. Listen in.
यदि कोई देश इस तरह की रणनीति में शामिल नहीं होना चाहता तो फिर हम उसे अलग थलग कर दें। अगर कोई देश इस तरह की रणनीति में शामिल नहीं होना चाहता तो मेरी मांग है कि हम उसे अलग थलग कर दें, क्योंकि दुनिया में ऐसे देश हैं जो बोते भी हैं तो आतंकवाद, उगाते भी हैं तो आतंकवाद, बेचते भी हैं तो आतंकवाद, और निर्यात भी करते हैं तो आतंकवाद। आतंकवादियों को पालना कुछ देशों का शौक बन गया है। ऐसे शौकीन देशों की पहचान करके उनकी जवाबदेही सुनिश्चित की जानी चाहिए, और ऐसे देशों को भी चिन्हित करना चाहिए जहां संयुक्त राष्ट्र द्वारा प्रतिबंधित आतंकवादी सरेआम जलसे कर रहे हैं, प्रदर्शन निकालते हैं, जहर उगलते हैं, और उनके ऊपर कोई कार्रवाई नहीं होती।
The Indian government is now also speaking on Baluchistan and the human rights violations there. Sushma Swaraj there came out pretty strong on what's happening in Baluchistan, and that's how she answered Nawaz Sharif. Take a listen.
अध्यक्ष जी, 21 तारीख को इसी मंच से पाकिस्तान के प्रधानमंत्री ने भारत के संबंध में 2 बातें कही जिनका जवाब देना चाहूँगी। एक तो उन्होंने कहा कि मेरे देश में मानवाधिकार का उल्लंघन हो रहा है। मैं कहना चाहूँगी कि जिनके अपने घर शीशे के हों उन्हें दूसरों पर पत्थर नहीं फेंकने चाहिए। ज़रा एक बार बगल में झांक कर देख लें क्या हो रहा है बलूचिस्तान में, और वो खुद क्या कर रहे हैं वहाँ। मैं कह सकती हूँ यहाँ के आज जो बलूचिस्तान में हो रहा है वो यातनाओं की पराकाष्ठा है।